If you'd like to participate in the discussion or leave us feedback, you can contact us at levelupyourgamingpodcast@gmail.com or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/levelupyourgaming. If you like the content and want to hear more of the show, subscribing will ensure you don't miss an episode. New episodes come out almost every Wednesday. Also, please review, tell a friend about the podcast, or share with your gaming group. Now sit back and enjoy the episode. Welcome to the Level Up Gaming Podcast. My name is Aaron, and joining me once again, I have Josh. Josh, how you doing today?
I'm gearing up for some time without the kids, which is always nice. My folks are taking them out of state for a couple of days, so I get to spend some time with the wife and the dogs and the chickens and the farm that I apparently live on in the suburbs now. How about you?
I'm doing good. We haven't got to the farm part of it yet, but we're definitely having a good time. I'm laughing a little bit here because we basically recorded this episode before we recorded the episode. You told me stop so we don't lose all the good content here.
Well, okay. So what if we decided to do today? We decided to do a let's make a one shot.
Yes. We decided let's make a one shot. We're talking about the topic. And what did we end up doing? You proposed something to me, and I said, "Okay."
Dungeons and Dine. It was between that or the Last Supper Club, but I was thinking that the Last Supper Club might be a little regional, as in I think supper clubs are only like a Wisconsin / Northern Illinois thing. It's very Midwest. I don't know. Do supper clubs exist outside the Midwest? Do you know?
I believe they actually only are a Wisconsin thing, because even as far up north as I am, close to Wisconsin, like we don't have any here in Illinois.
There is a supper club in further south down by me. There's a couple of them, St. Charles, Geneva area, but that's just Illinois, Wisconsin anyway.
Yeah. No, they typically are a true, kind of. It's a very common thing in Wisconsin.
So, dear listener, if you're confused as to what the hell we're talking about, a supper club is just a restaurant that you have a membership to, and you go there, and instead of having a menu, that's what they're serving tonight. You get a menu, like this is what we're serving everybody tonight, and so you go there, and it's a nice, relaxing place. Usually has specific beverages to that restaurant, and they serve like a prime rib or like a fish fry or something that everybody can enjoy, and like a pasta bake. And it's like if you went over to somebody's house and you just ate what they're eating, but everybody in the neighborhood did, sort of thing. And that's a supper club. So the Last Supper Club would, of course, be some sort of...
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of food theme. Let's make a one shots coming up here. So, you said Dungeons and Dine, and my first thought was, well, there's that anime Delicious in Dungeon, and I was like this is gonna evolve into that. And then I pitched. Okay, so here's the hook I pitched. Okay,
mm-hmm.
I pitched the hook that you have that monsters are a delicacy in this world that people like to eat, and you have a rich, patron who wants to consume this rare monster that you have to go procure. Okay, so that was my pitch, and your pitch, which I liked a lot better, was
let's throw Guy Fieri in there.
Yeah, so Guy Fieri is your is the guy who you're protecting. Well, he's carving up monsters in the dungeon to prepare for me.
Yeah. Like, if you are talking about the full-on experience, like, your players may not be the chef, and that would be perfectly fine. If you're talking about monsters being rare delicacies, then you need somebody that knows how to carve up said monsters, but they're not necessarily the people that go and kill them or protect from the dungeons that they're in. So you could do a 5-room dungeon where you've got to protect a individual who is extremely boisterous, very loud, not sneaking at all, probably frosted tips, bright Hawaiian shirt, sunglasses on the back of his head for no apparent reason, wandering through a dungeon, commenting on everything, drawing every attack, wandering into traps, and you're supposed to keep him alive to make the best meal possible.
Because he's preparing for his new show or his book or his tome or whatever you are that's relevant to your setting. Diners, Dragons, Drive-ins, and Dine.
Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons and Dines. Yeah, whatever it is. I think there's a T-shirt that somebody sent me. It was just that, but it said like "Escape from Flavortown," and it had Guy Fieri riding a dragon on the front. So, like, we can take a couple of these things, and you can put Dungeons and Dragons and Diners and Dives in with Dungeon Meshi, where you're trying to collect the various monsters in a dungeon for food sources. And I think you put those things together, and you can have a nice little one shot.
Yeah, I like it. So we're protecting for this protecting Guy Fieri like person. I don't know how to spell Fieri, but like person while is he doing research for something, or is he actually shooting a show or preparing a show? Do you have a live studio audience following you around?
Oh my God, that I think that would be the sort of thing you'd leave up to the person actually running the game. Because if they want to, if they're doing it like, if it's a live game, like you're playing with your friends in a room at a table, as opposed to doing it online, you could get your phone and get like a little soundboard for like, claps and woos and like gasps and stuff like that, and just like cue them up during the game. And that would be very funny for the first time you clicked on it, and very annoying by the third time. So maybe don't do that. Just I think that if you are going to be, I don't think like a live studio audience, but he could easily be, some sort of magical orb that's following around like a VTuber.
Like he's broadcasting his adventures here. He's doing a show. Like, again, you're trying to spin off of the triple D thing here for quadruple D, and so he's doing a show. He's doing an entertainment thing here. And if you don't want to do the live studio audience, maybe you could have some spectators.
He's pre-recording it. It'll fixed in editing, but it's important that your players make the chef look good going through the dungeon.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
They're hired by this guy to go and help him in the dungeon, and he's got to survive the dungeon. He's got to get the materials that he needs. And you can't make him look like an ass, but he's going to do everything in his power to, like I said, wander into traps and be a complete idiot.
All right. And I like the idea of juxtaposing this name. So we'll call him Fly Gieri.
Fly Gieri?
Fly Gieri.
I mean,
I can see you don't love the name.
I was thinking, like, instead of Guy, you call him Dude. Instead of Fieri, you call him Hotness.
Okay, that works too. You go with your own clever name. All right. You have your own world.
The problem with his name, and I love the dude, and I love his show, and he does like all sorts of charity work, and he takes care of firemen, and he like did a whole. He's a great guy, but his name already sounds like somebody made it up for a Dungeons and Dragons thing, so it's difficult. Okay, I'm not saying we have to change his name. Put him there. This might be a thing he does.
Okay, all right, Guy Fieri.
But listener, if you're going to run this, come up with a couple of different names, realizing none of them are as good as Guy Fieri, and then use Guy Fieri in your game anyway. Okay?
All right. So our setting is obviously it's going to be a dungeon, but do we have? Are we outside of a particular town? Is it a renowned dungeon? Is it how are you feeling this?
I think this is
Oh, it's got to be a small town. No, never mind. This is the
Yeah.
Guy Fieri thing. Okay,
it's a Guy Fieri thing. He's out in the kingdom, wandering through different towns, and he knows of this place. He wants to bring his viewers in and show them the delicacies that can be found in Planington.
small town with a big dungeon.
Yeah. Small town known for their delicacies that come from this big dungeon.
Small town with a unique dungeon. There we go. And there we go. And that fits it. You now you're combining the herbs and the spices that the town creates with the dungeon itself.
Yeah. And okay. What do you think of this? Like we'll set up a dungeon. We'll draw out the different rooms and the different things. But whenever they enter a new room, instead of the flavor text talking about the new room, it is a cut back to people in the town being interviewed by Guy Fieri, talking about the wonders of the dungeon and what's in the different rooms. So you can have like a bunch of different, like an old guy talking about when he was young. He used to go down there with his sweetie, and they knew how to get past the trap because you had to turn the dial 6 ways to the right and then 2 to the left. And I remember it because she was born on 6-2. No, wait, she was born on 5-7. Wait, and so give flavor text for the rooms and details about how to get past parts of the dungeon as interviews of the town. Build it all into the whole mythos.
Every time you kill one of the monsters, he's gonna be like, "These crabmen were money."
Ooh, look how juicy that one is.
This sauce made from this.
Okay,
this dungeon moss is out of bounds.
We definitely need some slime monsters that are made of hot sauce. We need some crabmen that are just like lathering themselves up in butter. We need food relative monsters in this dungeon.
Yes,
right?
Yes, because he's going to make food out of every monster there. And boy, oh boy, good luck sneaking around. He's setting off traps left and right.
I think that you should definitely have plant vines growing through the thing that are good herbs, but you have to get past the spiky bits to get to the good parts of the plant. The leaves are past the spiky bits, so you got to work through your spines to get to the leaves. Things like this. So let's come up with
NPCs. Let's get to our NPCs before we get to digging into the dungeon. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So we have Guy Fieri or Fly Gieri, whichever one you're going to do.
Dude hotness. Yeah.
Dude hotness. Not a bad one either.
Or if you want to go completely the other way, you go Lady McCool.
Yep. Yeah. Very, very, very true. Yeah. As long as it's obnoxious and they're obnoxious, that's all.
Yes.
Boisterous. They're not obnoxious.
Boisterous.
It's boisterous. Yes. That's what I'm looking for.
Energetic, fun, loud. And I mean that in both like the character and their appearance.
And completely oblivious to their situation.
But having a great time.
Having a great time.
Other NPCs, I would say like a handful of townsfolk. Not that the players will interact with, but they will just be like background noise. Like different ways you can describe the dungeon or what's happening in there, the different monsters in there. Even like, if they describe preparing the monsters into meals, that'd be really fun too. If you know how to cook, you can use some of that with these monsters and have a good time with it. Know your players, of course. We always talk about KYP when it talks about what sort of encounters you're going to be going at, what sort of puzzles and such. But KYP when it comes to food also, because I know some players of mine have expressed not a mild disinterest, but a vehement dislike for certain foods, such as mayonnaise. So just try not to gross out your players. This is not supposed to be that. This is supposed to be a fun time.
Yes. Of course. So, introduction. I think I one way I'm thinking about doing this would be that your players are now in the thick of like a really intense combat as he's yapping about, describing like different things in this room. And in the combat here, like either as it finishes or a couple rounds into it, you flash back to how you got into this terrible mess.
Oh, absolutely. So it's got to be like early on in the dungeon, like the first or the second room, maybe. And it is just like a full on. Oh, this is great. You've got eggshells that are all cracked open on the walls, and there are a ton of these, lizard monsters that have just like attacked the party. And so you start mid combat. You start like, let's start by rolling initiative. Okay. The lizard monsters are upon you, and every round, instead of attacking, Guy Fieri does his action is to like give a narration. Okay. And you make the monsters beefy enough, but not deadly enough, so that you can make it last a round or two. And I would try and spread everybody out in the room so that you're not concentrating fire either. And then after a round or two, when it looks like the party might actually succeed or is getting through the monsters, that's when you cut back to, the how do we get here? Which you go back to the first room. Guy Fieri is talking about getting the delicious meat from these eggs and how to harvest them, and he wanders over, and everybody's supposed to go and grab a different egg, and he just cracks one open, and lizards spill out because he wants to show you how you're supposed to crack them open. I mean that. Yes, absolutely. Start in the action, get your players invested, and give them that this dude is trying to kill you. He's not trying to kill you. He's going to kill you. He's going to make this very difficult.
He's not trying to kill you, but his actions most certainly will.
Yeah.
So yeah, you throw them in there, and they're like, great. Now we're stuck with this guy. Okay, hopefully. Okay, again, this is a one shot. So this is the part where your players, KYP, know your players, might kill Guy Fieri. Or Dude Hotness. They might kill Dude Hotness. But
which is why there's the recording device.
Yes, right? There's a recording device, and if you need to sweeten the pot, make sure your players know that like there will be some reward at the end of this. So.
Like at the end of that fight, Guy Fieri should immediately jump in and start interviewing the players about the fight. And then he's gonna start cracking crabmen with the
legs.
Camera, like, oh man, look, and then he's cracking the just like pulling the lizards apart, and like, look at the meat there. Look at that succulent meat. You can't get that in a grocery store. You got to go to the source, man. Yeah. And I would say that, especially in this first room, because you're throwing them into this fight, because you're making it a beefier fight, not a super deadly fight, but like it's going to last a couple of rounds. The meat from the lizards that Guy Fieri prepares for you does heal up the party a bit, if not completely. So it's yes, he put you in a bad situation, but also, you know, he could be not useful, but at least you shouldn't murder him.
Yes. There's got to be something to that. You have to incentivize the players to not want to go like, well, it's in our best interest to let him die.
Yeah. And so that's your introduction. You get into you're in a dungeon. Guy Fieri is there. He's bumbling around enthusiastically, and it's going to cause problems. Right?
Yes.
Right. So we need some sort of puzzle. You get through that first room, they get the eggs. Do we want to have something that's happened that the door that they came into, Guy Fieri accidentally like broke it?
Of course he accidentally sealed it. That's part of the intro. Okay, there's no way out. The only way out is through. Okay?
Yeah, luckily the townsfolk told me that there is an exit on the other side of this dungeon. We just got to get through and get cracking.
Like we're cracking these eggs.
Yeah. And boom, and then there's lizards coming at you. Yes. Yeah, I think puzzles are the next thing. I think that
I just think standard dungeon puzzles. I mean, I don't know if there's anything that's relatable to the food theme necessarily.
Well,
I mean, obviously all the puzzles can have food theme associated to them, but like, I'm trying to think like how you manipulate that puzzle.
I like the idea of having like vine traps, that you're trying to collect the berries from the vines, and there's like it's got stuff going on. So you've got a dangerous area. You've got to collect food for Guy Fieri. There's also switches that need to be set properly in order to open up the next area. You can throw puzzles in with traps while collecting stuff, and just sort of like throw it all together. Make it a decent sized room with a number of things that have to go on it all at once, so that your players can do a bunch of rolling, do a bunch of role playing, and solve some stuff all at the same time.
And part of the key, though, like I like the idea of having like well-defined puzzles that are tracked within the flashback. Like you basically give your players like A or B or A, B, and C as like the answer, and like choose your adventure, what's going to happen. Yeah. And if you can't make a decision on what's going to happen, Guy Fieri's going to make it happen. He's probably going to activate most of these puzzles incorrectly anyways. So just understand that's something you're going to deal with.
Yeah, and I think any of the puzzles or any of the traps that would come from these puzzles being solved incorrectly, they're not like, it's a pit trap, or, rocks fall and everybody dies, poison starts coming into the room. Actually, poison starts coming into the room, it's fine.
It's got to be a slow acting trap where it's like, not again. Like,
or monsters, or like vines attack, but like the vines come out and he's like, this is what we're looking for, because this is the good fleshy bit of the vine where you get the right herbs and spices from. And like, make sure you cut them at the roots, boys. Stuff like that. Like, it's got to be slow acting or important puzzle. Like, yes, gas is filling the room. Like, now you got to watch out. This is deadly gas. That's why we got to stay close to the floor. But the thing about this deadly gas is it also works as a great preservative and spice for the meat that we just got. So I need you guys to hold the meat up into the gas, but try not to breathe any of it in.
So I like it. So I'm trying to think about the setback. Is the setback just that he keeps activating all these traps and basically trying to kill you?
I mean, kind of. Like, I would say that there is like a race of various creatures that live down here that are trying to protect their trove of food, and like he wants to interview them, and they want to kill any intruders.
That'll be the best flashback part is when you finally like encounter them. Like we go flashback.
I would even go so far as like while you guys are off collecting something for him, he sneaks off and it's quiet for a moment. You don't realize what's going on. He's been captured by them. And he's the only one that can get you out of the dungeon. So now you have to go and rescue him from the people he's interviewing who want to kill everybody in the dungeon. Think kobolds, but maybe like, mushroom people.
Okay.
I like mushroom people. That's a good one. Like a myconid race.
Okay. That's pretty clever. Trying to think if I can add anything onto that. So he goes to record and start interviewing them, and they kidnap him instead.
Yeah,
he's rolling way out of the dungeon.
Now, if your players don't pick up that he's been kidnapped, I would say have the recording device like float back to them and project that he's been kidnapped, and you guys need to come get me.
The floating device is the ultimate sentient. Like,
oh yeah,
it's smarter than everyone in the dungeon. It'll get you. Like, you have to look at this. Okay,
it's a producer. It's like I'm not going to be on camera. I know everything that's happening. I know how it should happen. I know why it's not going to happen. Yeah, it's exactly what you need. So yes, the floaty crystal orb of fixing plot holes. So yeah, that's what we'll do. So there's your setback. He's been captured, and then
then your climax is obviously your fight to reclaim your companion who maybe you've always wanted him to meet his untimely demise, but he's required to get out of this dungeon. So,
I mean, you can probably go a couple of different ways here. So yes, he's been captured. You don't have to fight to him. There may be ways you could sneak in to rescue him, but you are absolutely going to fight because he is not going to sneak out.
Yes. So there, I guess there's two ways you could do this. Okay. Way number one is the big epic fight, and way number two would be in concert with what he's trying to do. So he knows that there's this race of monsters that now produces like crazy delicacies because she interviewed somebody who ate food from these monsters way back when. Okay, and so now in the climax, the players are somehow able to convince these mushroom people that it's a good idea to be on the Guy Fieri show.
And they can open up their own restaurant and, celebrate their peoples and stuff.
So it really goes one of two ways. Like if you want to have the players cook the mushroom people or, prepare a great delicacy, you can let them be that they're going to fight the good fight and rescue Guy Fieri. And leave the dungeon with Guy Fieri and these mushroom people. They're going to make a delicious stew. Okay. Or you can go the totally wacky way. And again, why not? Because it's already been wacky enough with Guy Fieri in the dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
Let's, somehow there's, even if it starts with a combat, it ends in a misunderstanding, which is like, oh, I thought that you always wanted to just kill us. It's like, no, we wanted to know about your delicious food.
Yeah. It's it gives options to the players, and that's one of those things I want in a lot of these stories is um the players should have options when it comes to how do they want to resolve the story. They may not have a lot of options in getting to that point in the story, but finishing the story gives them choices. Especially for these little one shots, because that like it opens it up, right? They decide they like something, they want to continue it. This is how the story goes.
Yeah. So if I say we're convinced them to open a restaurant. So
Yeah, convince them to open up a restaurant, being interviewed, letting start selling their delicacies. There's so many options of ways that it can get really weird. Or you could just have a big epic fight with a bunch of mushroom people, um, and various other, uh, the other creatures that you've seen in here. You might have the lizards, you could have the vines, you could have. We were talking about crab people earlier, or crab monsters, or you know, poison clouds, or whatever it is.
poison clouds, perhaps a minotaur, so you can get some beef in there.
Yes, I think that's directly from Dungeon Meshi.
I think so, yeah. But
yeah.
I'm looking at the mythical, like, how do you get count like minotaur?
Oh, I had talked about slime monsters too for hot sauce slime monsters. Because you got to have that zip.
Yes.
Like a gelatinous cube of Louisiana hot sauce. It burns, but it's also delicious.
That's out of bounds.
That's so good.
Welcome to Flavor Town.
Man, you can't do that. I like this is a fun way to do this.
So the resolution, obviously, there's a little bit both ways you get out of the dungeon, but there's a little bit more silliness if you somehow convince the mushroom people to open up a restaurant, or like be interviewed, and then like it becomes like this hot restaurant. If not, it just you end up preparing like the best meal ever because the mushroom people. And you end up with all their delicacies and stuff that way too. How do you? I mean, I don't even know how you link into the second story with this. I don't feel like there is a second story with this. No. See, no, you could always do a second story with this because they don't have to be. This doesn't have the fact that Guy Fieri survives allows you to run into Guy Fieri again to do Dungeons and Dine a second time.
Well, and you could do like a teaser, like as he turns to the camera and says, "Join us next week where we're heading mountaintop, where sky giants are preparing what I've heard is the best rocks in the entire kingdom." And that's not just good, it rocks.
There you go. That's out of bad.
Like you just have some fun with it and like make some ridiculous thing up. But if your players like traveling around with Guy Fieri and discovering the wonderful culinary endeavors that exist within the kingdom of Flavor Town, I suppose, that you can have like little dungeons where these things happen all over the place, or culinary mishaps, or just weird people that they run into. A town of cannibals. It smells delicious. It tastes wonderful, but you won't like where this meat comes from.
I I've
Also,
been
know your
part
party.
of,
Don't
I've been
like
part
throwing
of
that out.
many weird stories where you end up with an NPC who's totally useless or like has no business being with the party, and the party keeps them around anyways, simply because of that. And so,
Yeah.
like, I feel like this could be one of those things where he totally your party follows him around simply because of that reason. It depends on how you execute uh Dude Hotness or Guy Fieri or Lady McAwesome or whatever the other one was.
McCool. It's hot
McCool.
versus cool. Come on, Aaron. You know this stuff.
All right, sorry.
We just finished the Star Wars game that I was playing, and it was exactly this. We had an NPC, Eddie, who was like the nephew of one of the characters, who kept like sneaking in and showing up in luggage and being a problem, and it it really annoyed the one character. So all the other characters adopted Eddie, and we invited him to all of the missions, to the great chagrin of the one character. I mean, all players were happy. It was in character dislike. So that might be something to think about. If you can have Guy Fieri make just one of your players' life miserable, but the character's life miserable, not the player.
not the player. This is
So
very
that the
very
rest
important.
of the players really enjoy this and go out of their way in character to make sure that they encourage all of Guy Fieri's eccentricities, then yeah, you can have a lot of fun with this.
Yes.
Also, watch a couple episodes of Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives before you go and do this, or like some. Did they have like a where they're in the shopping in the supermarket and they got the shopping cart? And
He has a grocery store like reality TV show where they cook food. It's a spinoff of one of those sorts of things. But
I mean,
it's got
that's your sequel to this game. Everybody's in their own dungeon and has to run and collect things and then make a meal out of it. Yeah.
So, in terms of maps, really you just need the dungeon. And I would. This is one of those times when I say, you can always theater the mind, but this is one of those things where it's like, if this is your only set piece and the thing you need, like a 5-room dungeon, perfect for this. Just create a simple dungeon. Doesn't have to be anything exorbitant, or go Google a 5-room dungeon.
I mean, 5-room dungeon is based on is what I wrote the original let's make a one-shot format around. It's, you've got your introduction, you've got your puzzle, you've got your setbacks, a climax, and a resolution. That's what the dungeon is. Those are your 5 rooms. So we can use the same sort of style here in building out the dungeon. Introduction is the egg room. Puzzle is vines and booby traps and gas. Your setback is, it's got to be like you've got to be fighting some sort of, I say, the gelatinous hot sauce monster to collect the hot sauce for Guy Fieri. Well, he disappears, and it turns out that he went off the other way to get kidnapped by the mushroom peoples. And your climax is rescuing him, and the resolution is however you want to figure that out. So there you go. Those are your dungeon. That's your dungeon right there.
Okay. And then any handouts?
Menu.
Menu. Menu could be fun. So probably not, or maybe a menu.
Yeah. It just
and then
if you want. It's one of those, like, if you're gonna do this and you want to have a little fun with it, you're like, this is the tasting menu, and just list the monsters and what you're gonna get out of them. Yeah.
Awesome. And then the mobs and bosses. We have the lizards. We have vines. We have crab people. We have slimes of hot sauce. And, of course, the mushroom people.
Yeah. That's a nice big selection of mobs. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. That's a lot. It's a lot more than we would typically ask or even recommend to prepare here. But again, I think that you're a little bit leaner in choosing the map selection, and then you got those options for the mobs and the bosses.
Yeah, and I think that as a departure from some of our more mystery based or like social based games that we've talked about in these Let's Make One Shots, this is more of a straightforward dungeon crawl with a twist. And the twist is you've got to keep an NPC alive who's doing everything in their power to make sure that they get murdered.
Yes. I like it. I'm glad we ended up doing this one. It was silly. I didn't think we were going to do it, and I'm glad we ended up doing it.
No, because the first thing we said was it's just a ripoff of this thing, and we're like, yeah,
okay, why not? I guess
still okay. It's a good thing. Listeners, if you have not watched Dungeon Mesh, you're Delicious in Dungeon. It's on Netflix. I want to say
yes,
it's available on your streaming service of availability. Watch it. My kids loved it. So,
Yeah. No, I
and
like
of course,
it.
Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. Because even if you find the guy really annoying, he's kind of a nice guy. So,
yeah. No, I love it. I think it's great. So,
excellent.
Anything else that you want to add, Josh?
Next time we have to escape from Flavortown.
There we go. Next time we have to escape from Flavortown. So if you have any thoughts on the Let's Make a One Shot series or have recommendation for Let's Make a One Shot, let us know. Level Up Gaming Podcast at gmail.com or facebook.com/Level Up Gaming. The podcast is also on YouTube, so you can smash the like button there, subscribe there if that's your listening medium. Otherwise, download from your favorite podcasting site, review it, recommend it to a friend, all those good things. And that'll wrap us up for the week. So for Josh, I'm Aaron. That's Out of Bounds.
Bye.